Sup, Ryu here for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council with another guide to your side, because this is the week guide to your side comes back, and this week we're focusing on Mega Monarchs. Many of you have written in that you need help against the Mega Monarchs. I'm going to help you very much. Now these guys are still fairly new, so once we get this in the TCG, we see if there's anything else that we have yet to include in this video, we will make sure to do a follow-up video also including the newer cards, and basically just pointing out that, hey, there's a new one with more stuff. So let's go straight into this guide to your side. So thank you for everyone requesting it who requested. Now let's get straight 100% into it. Fire and Ice Hand are the first two cards I'm going to mention. Now Fire Hand has to target a monster on the field to destroy it, and that's the one downside, but you combine this with something like MST to get over that anti-targeting, then you're going to be able to break up the setup against Monarchs. Now Fire and Ice Hand don't just help against Monarchs, they help against quite a few decks that will be very troublesome, if not just now, then in the near future. So if you're having problems with those matchups currently, especially Mega Monarchs, Fire and Ice Hand are a great way to start looking at the matchup. Just keep in mind, when they have the spell card March of the Monarchs on the board, Fire Hand is pretty much useless and you want to start with Ice. And the first card you want to target is that March of the Monarchs. So that way then you can freaking target their other cards and not have to worry about it. Now neither one of these cards focus on the extra deck, so that's pretty much the name of the game here. Don't focus on your extra deck as much when it comes to your siding. Alright, our next two cards are MST and Galaxy Cyclone. This allows you to break up not just the field card, but the March of the Monarchs. So then, therefore, you could target them. You can also use your extra deck and utilize everything that you have to throw against them. Now, neither one of these cards are affected by Royal Decree, which is going to be a very popular side card that they will use against you. So keep that in mind. MST Galaxy Cyclone, very useful in that matchup. You want to have 2 to 3 of each. Not that you need both, but at least one of the two. Galaxy Cyclone, you get that double use, and MST, obviously, you get the one-time use, whatever you prefer, because that's going to poop on them. You can also use something like Lila if you're running a Chaos deck. Lila also works because they're not going to be running any defensive kind of trap cards. They're just going to try to lock you out of the game. And MST and Galaxy Cyclone, Lila, Dust Tornado, Fairy Wind, these all break up that whole situation of your opponent trying to get over you. We're actually going to talk about Fairy Wind next. So Fairy Wind lets us hit March of the Monarchs, the Search Power card, which I can't remember the name off the top of my head, and their field card. So that's 3 major cards the deck really utilizes to take control of the board and keep control of the board. And anything else they may throw at you, Fairy Wind can take care of. So if they flip Decree, you could chain the Fairy Wind in the same chain, pop the Decree, pop their field, pop the March of the Monarchs, and win the game. Now, you still have to deal with the biggest threat, which is the big Monarchs themselves, but then you can utilize any other traps that you would normally have or anything you would use against the matchup that normally you wouldn't be able to because you would have to target them. You'll be able to target them. So that's the name of the game for the first half. The second thing I'm going to mention is Zombie World and Massive Restrict. I'm going to start with Zombie World. They actually do have one of the Monarchs as a zombie. So you have to keep in mind that it's not the most optional, optimized card to use against them. I'm phrasing everything wrong. So MST really goes well with it. Actually, it doesn't. MST doesn't go well with it. What the hell am I saying? Zombie World shuts down the majority of the deck, but once they get that, it looks like Zaborg. It looks like Caius. I can't remember its name. It's a zombie though. I think it's another one. But once they get him and they drop him on the board, they could break up the Zombie World setup and just continue what they were doing. And then you have the same situational problem you were in the first place, that Zombie World didn't really do the cut that you needed it to do. Zombie World helps to an extent, but not completely. The better of the two options in this case is Massive Restrict, and as I said before, Royal Decree is going to be very popular from the side, and MST as well. So Prohibition, MSTs, Fairy Winds, these help break up the matchup even more. So Royal Decree, Massive Restrict is pretty much the go-to card to completely shutting them down, saying no Yu-Gi-Oh, but they will be main decking at least 2 to 3 MSTs and siding 3 Royal Decrees, so that's something to keep in mind against this matchup. So your Massive Restrict's only going to carry you so far, But if your deck's like super OTK and you don't care about tributing, then you're good to go. Now, Master Restrict is a great option. It's a very old card, and it still has a lot of power. If you're playing the mirror match, so I do have to talk about the mirror match. Fog King's your best option. But besides Fog King, there's also Chain Disappearance. And I'm actually going to get to that in a minute. But Fog King shuts down the mirror match. Pretty simple. Chain Disappearance, you hit the little ones. And when you hit the little ones, they have nothing to bring out. And when they don't have anything to bring out, then they can't do the setup, and they can't go for the double tribute, and then it's harder for them to win the game. Now, they do have the field spell card that allows them to lower it, but if you're controlling the game with something like Chain Disappearance and Fairy Wind, they ain't going to win. They are not going to win. They're not overhyped, but they're very dangerous of a deck. Torrential Tribute, also a great option. Again, anti-destruction, you got to take that off the field, then Torrential Tribute's a great option. Basically, when they summon the first two, flip up the Torrential, go from there. Pretty much good field wipe is good. Anything like Torrential Tribute is going to help. Crush Card Virus. Early in the game. Basically, when they go for the double summon, flip Crush if you're running it, which not many decks do, and you can rip everything out of their hand that is Big Monarch. And that'll pretty much carry you for the first part of the game. Not the greatest option, but it's still an option. Solemn Notice. This is a card coming out. It's not completely out yet, and I think it comes out after the Mega Monarchs actually get released in TCG land. But basically, you're able to negate summons, and that in itself says it all. Effect Veiler. Remember what I said about the Zombie World thing? Effect Veiler cues in with Zombie World really well, because then, you know, they can't do it. They go for the Heaven Monarch, you drop Effect Veiler, and it's not getting effect. And then right then and there, you pretty much stop them right in their tracks. Jack Frost doesn't target, therefore can flip it face down. They'll have weak defense, you can get over it really easy. And finally, Summon Limit. Summon Limit, they go for the first summon, they go for the second, they can't summon anything further. So Summon Limit is also another option, but again, affected by Royal Decree, which they will be citing. I'm not saying any of this is wrong or any of it's right, but these are all options for the Mega Monarch side. For when you need to side against them, those are your best options. So I'm ready for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. Make sure to check out the videos and the annotations that are now happening. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and let me know, fuck you, Bert, let me know in the future what decks do you want to see on Guide to Your Side, what you need help against, and I will do the Guide to Your Side for you guys. I'm ready for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council, and as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you